Lovely.
Right. I can't. Right. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is. Can I have any pictures? Sorry, I'm just trying to work out. They can see. Right, I can't see them. Okay. Firstly, my name's Judith Neptial, and I am from an organisation called From Me to You, The Art of Survival. Is there any way I can see them? Yeah. From Me to You, The Art of Survival. And basically, the reason why we were established was because basically because I was diagnosed with terminal cancer in 2018 and given under a year to live. During that period of time, okay, let me start again, sorry. During that, when I was diagnosed with under a year to live, it kind of sent me on a journey. I thought that anybody who was diagnosed with cancer would receive, I don't know, maybe a conveyor belt type treatment. We started at the same point and we all ended at the same point. Some of us lived and some of us didn't. However, what I found along that journey was that that was definitely not the case, that there were many different factors that came into play. So, who are we? We are a Black Cancer Support Group. And what do? We do cross-institutional training in relation to cultural awareness. We provide hospital visits for our members. And we also hope to provide research and also currently provide research, carry out research. We have a helpline and we also provide nutritional support and supplements, as well as holding workshop and panel discussions. And we hope within the early part of next year to be doing a podcast for our community and for anybody else who's interested in some of the issues that face our community and organisation. So, who are we? In 2020, we started informally as a Facebook group. And the reason why we started the group is, as I've outlined before, was because of my diagnosis. Some of the things that I came across on my journey were issues that I really wanted to know if they not only affected me, but whether they were being reverberated around the community. And unfortunately, on starting the Facebook page, what I found was most of the issues that had affected me affected my community as well. What were some of those issues? One of the main issues that I came across along my journey was that my engagement with medical professionals was not working. There was a lack of understanding and a lack of engagement on both sides. So in 2021, we became fully incorporated as a CIC, providing some of the services that I've outlined previously. And in 2023, our membership has continued to grow, and we are now partly on our way to becoming a fully fledged charity as well. And what are our successes? Our successes are that we have so far provided 50 successful advocacies for our members. We have provided 30 plus hours of awareness training, and we have also provided 100 hours worth of research and policy and support within our community. So why do we exist? The reason why we currently exist, as stated before, is in relation to the disparities that are out there in relation to our community. Black men are still 2 times more likely to get prostate cancer. Black people are 38% less likely to be diagnosed via screening. And Black women with breast cancer are more likely to be diagnosed at a later stage than white British women. Black British patients still face delayed referrals and are offered less aggressive medical treatments. And there's still a lack of cancer information and a distrust for the healthcare system within the Black community. These are all things that we all know. And Black people are still to be fully included in the medical trial process. Okay, so why does the Black community and marginalised communities tend not to engage? I wanted sitting around and I'm looking around the room, and you are all primary care healthcare providers, and I wonder what some of you feel that the reasons for this lack of engagement is. One of the reasons that we see it as being is that there is a general lack of safety. There are misconceptions, biases, and stereotypes. And I say that because when we do engage, we can be perceived negatively. And the knock-on effect of that is that we could be perceived to be aggressive, rude, and difficult. And what that impacts into is that when you're from a marginalised community, where you're already being perceived in a negative connotation or way, it then becomes increasingly difficult to challenge authority, to actually even to question your own healthcare. And as a result of that, that can impact on your whole journey of care. And what we're talking about here are the very dynamics of power and privilege and how that comes into the room. And are you even aware, as healthcare professionals, of who you are in the room when engaging with people from the Black community or marginalised communities, who are not just trying to be seen, they're trying to be heard? And today, if we're being truly transparent, they haven't been. They're not just to be seen, to be doing. So what we really are looking for is not to just be seen to be doing what the community actually needs. It's for real change with a tangible impact to take place. And what that leads to is, and what we've been talking a lot about is EDI, equality, diversity, and equity, diversity, and inclusion. And equity, which we know is what our community at present really is asking for. It's that journey towards equality. Because what we really need people to understand is that we are not in a place of equality. We're on the road to it. So people being able to speak out without the potential harm of unfair treatment. Because when you challenge from a position and you have a power and privilege, but, issue at play, this calls into a fact that when you challenge, the very core of you is, and what it brings to the surface is fear. Fear of what that challenge will do and how it will impact on your treatment. And you might look at this and think, well, that's not the case because as professionals, you do your job. But actually, when you're from a marginalised community, that's not your reality. Actions have consequences. So in relation to the above, what we look at is we go out and we try to provide training. And in relation to that training, what the training looks at is we look at the definitions of inequality and discrimination and bias, unconscious biases. And we look at this specifically because we believe that in order to move forward, we first have to grasp what this actually really means, not only to other people, but to us. We then look at stereotypes and unconscious biases, and they are difficult and challenging conversations, but they are conversations that we need to have. Because unless we are aware of what our unconscious biases are, what are those stereotypes that fly around in the room that we don't speak about, but we think? And what are the common cultural beliefs and values that you hold? Because it's not about what just other people hold. It's what are your core beliefs? Because they will infringe upon everything else that you do. We then look at microaggression and again, power and privilege, because we've heard all too often, as I've just explained, how it can come into play, and sometimes in a very unconscious way. We also look at improving cultural competencies, because in order to help anybody from a community, a marginalised community, or from the Black community, unless you're prepared to have difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations, in order to become comfortable with the conversation, then you're not really creating a safe environment, are you? It can't be, because you don't feel safe in it. And then we look at how do we engage those communities, the marginalised community, the Black community? How do we engage them more effectively? What are we doing or what are we not doing? And again, looking at anti-racial language and understanding what that actually means. Right. So as I've said, this is really what we do currently at From Me to You. We deal with a lot of things within our organisations. Most of our services, as I've spoken about, are led in relation to our members. And that is because, as you can tell, I'm a great believer in advocacy. I'm a great believer in raising awareness. And I'm a great believer in access to information. And these are the things that I'm passionate about in providing to our community. Because what I learned on my journey is that access to information saves lives. Because it certainly saved my life. Okay. So, yeah, these are the things that we do with our community. However, off the back of that, what we learn and what I learned very quickly is that in order to help marginalised communities and the Black community, that this is not something that is just about how do we engage the Black community. That's no longer the question. The question is, we need to be turning that microscope around and looking at ourselves and asking ourselves, why are we not engaging with them? What are we not doing? And if it's not working, how do we change that? Or do we carry on using methods that have been tried and tested, dare I say it, for decades and have not worked, and have caused us to be in the situation that we now are in, where again, Black people within this country have some of the highest mortality rates across the board in relation to cancer. And considering the fact that we make up maybe 3 to 4%, and that is a really random guess, of the population, well, that's not really acceptable, is it? Okay, I'm going to provide you with some of the feedback that we've received from our training. Just so that you know, it's not just me saying
Judy, I'm
that.
just going to jump in just to say,
Sorry.
really sorry. I'm just looking at the time, so I'll make sure there's some time for discussion and questions. So, do you think
Sorry.
it's fine? It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying your presentation. I just want to make sure that the group gets time to, to engage with you. So, probably about 2 more minutes, and I suggest we then go over to discussion
Absolutely
and
fine.
questions. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm just showing you some of the feedback. You guys can have a look at this later that we've received from some of the people that we provided training to and from our members. But the last one I'm going to leave you with is a note from our member, and I'll just play so that you can see. Thank you. So, guys, sorry about that. Stop. Can we stop sharing?
Thank
Hi, everybody. Yeah, sorry about that. And as you can see, my presenting skills are I'm not good on camera or technical. So I apologise for the gaps along the way.
You've done a great job, Judith, and I'm sure there's some questions for you. Afsana, I saw you had your hand up at some point. It's gone down, but I don't know if you had a question for Judith.
Oh, sorry, it was an error on my side. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, well, that's lovely. I think this is the first time I've never had a question.
Oh, I'm sure you will. There's some couple things in the chat, and then Suzanne's got a hand up.
Judith, thanks so much. I heard you speak at our Macmillan Professionals Conference, I think it was last year or the year before, time flies, and I thought you were wonderful.
Thank you.
I think you're a fantastic advocate. I think I came up and spoke to you at the end of the conference and just said, you know, for you getting up there to speak, it does take a lot of guts and determination. And it's not that easy when you're having to speak to a screen either. I think what you're doing is amazing, and just like you're saying, we've all got a lot to learn, and you know, I think every day is a learning day for us. So having you come to speak at events like this is just really fantastic, and we just want to try and take away as much as we possibly can and learn and do a better job.
Thank
So I
you.
think
That's so
that's just, you know, what I would like to say. And we are, you know, we again in Macmillan, we've got a cultural competence module. So I've actually just put the link in there, and it probably speaks to the very thing that you're talking about, that we need to think about who we are. We need to think about the language we use. We need to think about thinking about marginalised communities and seldom heard communities far more. And I think it is very much a work in progress, but we need to do better. So yeah, it'd be lovely to catch up with you another time and talk to you more about what you're doing. That would be fantastic if that's okay.
Thank you.